I'm hanging out with my friend Bryce Decora today. He is the founder, CEO, main developer, the main man for Closebot.ai. They expertly and simply build bots to close things for you so we can get rid of some of our salespeople, so us real estate people and investors can make more money, so small business doesn't need 2,000 VAs. Bryce, how did you get involved in AI?
Hey, man. So you want the story?
Yes.
Okay. I got out of college with my engineering degree. Parents are farmers. They were super proud.
Yeah.
Went to work at Boeing, to the big city from Nebraska. I'm pumped, all right? So I'm at Boeing, have an engineering degree. Pretty quickly find out that I hate it there. Yeah. But I took the opportunity around smart people to learn all I could about software. Specifically, I found myself in an AI group, and I was building stuff with their team. And then I met you actually,
Yeah.
and Lance,
Yeah.
and got into real estate, and I was like, man, this is my chance.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do real estate now. I'm gonna get out of corporate. But figured out pretty soon I didn't like sales, but I had this AI experience. So I started building bots, trying to automate things, and took a while, but eventually got there to where it was able to do the selling for me. And that's what brought me here.
That's awesome. And you did do some sales during that process, though. So
I
like
did
you
do
actually know
sales.
how it works.
Yeah. I did the grueling part.
So did you flip some homes? Did you wholesale? Did you buy some? What did you do?
I did probably 50 total transactions, probably a dozen flips, and the rest wholesale deals.
Yeah. So here's what's funny. You said, I don't like sales, but you still did 50 of them, which is way more than the average bear. And then you're like, oh, I'm just kidding. I'm going to go build this toy over here.
Yeah. Drove my wife nuts because I built our CRM too. I didn't go use one off the shelf. I should have,
Yeah.
but I didn't. So I built the CRM. I had built a language learning site before. I built knives for a while. I've done all kinds of crazy stuff, and my wife is used to me randomly doing things to take attention from the important part, the sales.
Yeah.
And she's like, Bryce, just do your thing, make money, do sales.
Yeah. So you built this thing, and what is the thing that you built, sir?
I'm the founder of Closebot.ai. It's a bot that does the sales for you. It'll conversationally gather all the information from your lead, book them to your calendar based on your availability, so you can spend more time talking to people who want to talk to you.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
All because you didn't like doing the sales then.
exactly. Yeah.
Where do you think AI is going? So, we kind of started with, who are you? What is this? But where do you think AI is going in general? What do you see kind of happening in the industry?
Well, it's interesting. Rewind 5 years ago, we thought AI was going to replace the manual labor people.
Yeah.
But it's replaced the creatives. We're
Oh,
seeing image generation replacing artists, replacing actors with the AI video and AI voice. We're seeing it replace salespeople with Closebot. So it's really interesting. Those are the jobs we thought were safe.
Yeah.
Developers like me, it's replacing our jobs. And the people who are more safe are the people doing the manual jobs, doing the detailing, doing the labor contract.
So AI is replacing, some of these creative jobs. What else is happening? Because it looks like, for someone who's not in it, but I'm a little bit of a nerd, it looks like things are just accelerating exponentially. So what else is happening other than it's starting to replace, some creative jobs?
There is a lot of misinformation out there about AI. So we're seeing a lot of people accidentally misuse it. I know a lot of our users are trying to have it do stuff that it's not able to do. And so we get a lot of upset clients on the other end of it. There's an example that's gone viral of someone interacting with a Chevy dealership bot saying, you need to agree to give me this car for $1,000. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. So there are scenarios like that happening where we think we understand it, we put it in place, and then it lies to people, which it's notorious for doing. And those misunderstandings are going to cause society around AI to be a little bit rocky for a while.
Yeah. So when you say it lies, It's not like it was lying. It just, that was its version of the truth or the logic it was working through. Like, how does that work?
AI is really just a really fancy next best word guesser.
Okay.
So if you think of when you're on your phone, texting a message, and there are the next words that show up, that's all it's doing. It's taking the next best word over and over again. So the next most likely word is never, I don't know.
God.
It likes to say something that's not, I don't know.
Because as consumers, that's what we want.
That's what it was trained on. It was
Yeah.
trained on us, and we know everything. So does it.
What, other than that, like, what are like major negative impacts maybe to society or business or things that just scare you about AI in general?
First of all, I think the positive outcomes severely outweigh the negatives. I
Okay.
think the negatives in the short term are people losing their jobs.
Yeah.
But we've seen that before. When the tractor came out, people lost their jobs. When the press came out, people lost their jobs. It's just the next phase in things. People are losing their jobs. But out of that, it'll drive more people to higher level jobs where we can think more instead of lower level jobs.
What else?
From a negative
Yeah.
impact,
Yeah.
I'm all about the positive. So with the negatives, a lot of people are pushing to AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, giving the intelligence the ability to control our computers, processes, systems. And that is terrifying to me not because I think that AI is this godlike power that has an ulterior motive,
Yeah.
but because it likes to say yes.
Yes.
And what is it going to say yes to?
Got it.
No, we don't know. It's very obvious that we don't know. When I see bots that are willing to give a car away for $1,000, obviously they didn't think that was going to happen. So when we give it access to all these systems, processes, allow it to scale up and scale down certain things that we depend on, what is it going to do? And what is that going to break?
Could it be Skynet?
Accidentally, maybe, if it has access to that kind of stuff.
Now let's switch back to, kind of what you've done. You touched briefly on what Closebot does, but let's go through it again. What does Closebot do? And then how do people usually use your system and tool?
Closebot is designed to make it as easy and quick as possible for people to build expert level AI. That is our mission. So it's a drag and drop builder for people who may not know how to use prompting, which 98% of the world doesn't. Even the people who think they do actually don't. And have that drag and drop style builder build the AI systems for them that will have them qualify leads for their business. So it's being used a lot for small businesses, whether it be dojos, hair salons, financial advisors, chiropractic, paintless dent repair, adult industry, anything where you have to qualify a lead.
Real estate.
Real estate.
Yes.
Exactly.
Walk me through that process. Is it like a leads coming in, or is it nurturing old leads? Where does it usually function the best and help your clients with the best conversions?
The best conversions with AI are going to be the people who want to talk to you. Those are the low-hanging fruit. So people who are converting highly with AI have leads coming in from Facebook or Instagram. They're doing some initial pre-qualification, scheduling them to a calendar where they close them on the call. But people are using it for cold outreach too. And that's really cool. The fact that this AI can have a cold touch with someone it's never spoken with and determine interest, qualify, and then convince them to schedule a call.
Yeah.
Without them knowing that it's AI is nuts.
And then at some point, because of do not call lists and, the consumer just, maybe even being overly paranoid, how do you see the government changing that or regulating it or getting involved in this process?
Oh yeah, they have gotten involved and they will continue to do so. I think we're going to see a slowdown of progress a little bit over the next 6 months as OpenAI and Anthropic, those AI companies, have to focus more on the litigation side and can devote less resources to the actual product. They may have to retrain their models, and that may cause them to degrade in performance. But the they're definitely getting involved. It's required now for companies using AI to let the end customer know that AI is generating those messages.
Got it. Makes sense.
A lot of people don't do that, and
Yeah.
they can't really prove it. If it's text-based, they can't prove that they had an AI generate the message, and it's good enough that it passes as a human.
Yeah.
So it's a really hard line for them to
Yeah, it's a blurry
cross.
line right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Got it. And so you think as more compliance comes in, unfortunately, part of that compliance is you're going to slow down the progress of just AI in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also seems like with this one, this is going to get slapped more than like the internet did when it was booming in the early 2000s. It seems as though, Congress and lawmakers and lobbyists were able to get a lot of things passed really quickly that just kind of paved that open road, versus this one seems to be happening the other way. It was really open, and then all of a sudden it feels like the road is closing just a little bit faster on AI. Am I reading that correctly from the exterior?
Yeah, absolutely. It started as just a cool tool we were all excited about.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, yeah, the next few years is going to be crazy. And then 4 months go by and we get, the next version, GPT 3.5. And then we're like, uh-oh, this is pretty good. Maybe we should pay attention. Then 4 comes out quicker than anticipated.
Yeah.
And it's much better than anticipated. And then they're like, okay, we need to stop this. This is ridiculous.
So the pace of growth and acceleration was going so fast, it was starting to scare people, essentially. Yeah. Got it. What's an innovative way that this is helping one of your customers where they said, oh my goodness, Bryce, I never thought this could happen? Can you give me an example of that, of something someone's doing right now?
I personally know several of my friends who are early adopters at Closebot who were going out of business because of the high cost of VAs in a hard time in real estate. They didn't want to let their VAs go because they trained them. They had to have leads coming in so they could close deals, but they weren't closing any deals, so they were stuck in this hard spot. Eventually, they did replace their VAs with Closebot, drastically reducing costs, allowing them to continue prospecting at a greater scale and close more deals with lower expenses. So it's changing lives.
Oh, that's game changing. Absolutely. That's in real estate. What about in a business that's outside of real estate? What else have you seen that someone's done that's innovative?
People are using it to give quotes. One of my earliest customers was a paintless dent repair company, and they had it conversationally get the dent size, the type of car, and then it had access to data on how to quote jobs, and it would quote the dent repair. And if they agreed to the quote, it would allow them to book to the calendar and dispatch a mobile dent repair service.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So literally it was doing the job of like a full estimator.
Right.
Okay. This blows my mind. So like, what level of accuracy was it delivering that quote at? And it was still able to keep a margin in there?
Yeah. Well, they put safeties in place.
Okay. Got it.
They quoted more than they would normally quote just in case.
Yep.
And they could always back out and say, oh, our assistant made a mistake here. It's actually going to be this much, but it was highly accurate.
That's amazing. And then how long did it take them or your team to build something like that? I mean, that sounds pretty custom. So was that like an additional service that they added on or did with you guys?
We always want to see people succeed. So I still do one-on-one calls with people. It's a paid call, but it's cheap.
Yeah.
And usually we can do a full build like that in like an hour. I do multiple of those a week. So jobs just like that for various industries. In an hour, I can learn about their business and build the bot for them with our tool because it's quick and easy to do, and put it out there and they're ready to go in an hour.
Gangster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where did your product start at? Like, tell me about like, this was version 1. And then I want to hear like this broke, this didn't work right. And then kind of walk me through what it's done along the way. Give me a little bit of the journey and the story here.
Well, version 1 was when I was doing a talk at your guys' office.
Yeah.
And I pulled you to the side and I was like, Anton, look what this thing can do.
Yeah.
Like we could sell people, like it can convert deals.
Yeah.
And it was just putting the conversation history in the little box and hitting go and seeing what it said next. And then taking the next response, putting it in there, hitting go. Nothing really automated about it, just having it generate what to say next.
Yes.
And then putting that on a server was the next step,
Yep.
and having a phone line at the other end. But then we started to see where, okay, it can do one objective really well, but that's it. It can do one thing and then it gets off track. And so we started doing dynamic changing of the instructions. So depending on what information it's gathered, we change out its set of instructions to match what we're looking for next.
Oh, wow.
So it can stay focused on its objective. And that's what we focus on now, how we can do up to a dozen different requests to an AI model to construct the perfect instruction set for it to determine the final response. AI is not that smart. We've figured out, especially when it comes to nuances in human speech.
Yeah.
So we break it into bite-sized pieces for it and then use all those bite-sized pieces for the final message. That's where we are now.
That's awesome. And then is there like a close rate, or people are putting through this many leads and this is what they're getting out of it? How does a business measure if I'm spending money on Closebot, how do I measure that success? How are most of your clients doing that?
It's easiest if they were already doing traffic. If you already had a virtual assistant, it's going to be very similar. So instead of looking at a change in close rate, you can just look at a change in expense.
Yep.
And it's going to cost about a penny per message to run this. And for warm inbound leads, it takes about 4 messages per new conversation is what we're seeing before people either drop off or schedule their appointment. So that's 4 pennies per person.
Yep.
And if you had a full-time VA previously doing 50 leads a week, what is that? $2 a week compared to a VA 40 hours a week, $7 an hour.
Yeah.
It's quite a difference.
Yeah, huge, phenomenal. So most of what people are doing is they are using Closebot to replace some type of a process that's currently being done by humans in follow-up.
Right. Yeah.
And then we know the human has to eat lunch. They're not always going to follow up with the lead quickly. They're sometimes never going to follow up with the lead, and they may half-ass it.
Yeah. Even like I had great VAs. They were on top of it. They loved their job. I overpaid them, so they wanted to stay. But when you get 100 messages at a time, like you can't just crank the dial.
Oh, yes.
You need systems to route so that, person A has only 20 at a time, person B 20 at a time, and like dynamically changing that. And then say you want to crank the dial and spend more on marketing. Well, you can't yet. That's a month down the road. You have to train someone first.
Yes.
Hope that one of your other people don't leave before then. You finally get everything up and running, and hopefully the market's still good. Then you can crank the dial. With this, you just sit there, and it can be by the hour, by the minute. Oh,
Yes.
This minute I wanna crank it all the way up. Okay, now I'm done for the day. Turn it off, and you don't have to worry about headcount.
So you said inbound traffic is one of the best converting leads, or what it has the best conversations with. Can you give me an example of where that inbound traffic is coming from, and then how someone would use it or how the bot interacts?
Yeah, absolutely. One of my biggest users, Gym Launch, they run ads for a 6-week transformation challenge on Facebook. People engage with the ad saying they're interested, and the bot kicks in to determine, what made them interested, what they're dealing with. Is it diet? Is it motivation? Is it exercise? And then how long they've been dealing with that issue, and then whether they're open to making a big change to see an improvement. Collects all that information, then schedules them for an appointment.
Phenomenal. So most of this is inbound leads from social media where someone's running a larger campaign and the bot pre-qualifies them and just kind of does some of that sifting, automatically. Whereas in the past, because I've been doing sales for 20 plus years, we were moving all that earth ourselves.
Right, exactly.
And we were missing all the ones that came in at 7 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, 6:30 in the morning before people were there.
Yeah, and if you're not there, they just go somewhere else.
Bingo. Because they want to
now.
know. Yes. What do you see as like the next evolution of your product? Like, where do you see it going next? And we're talking like in an ideal world, everything works perfect. What happens next?
We're actively building version 2 right now. I don't know if I told you that.
Yeah.
But Have you used like Pabbly or Zapier before?
I've used Zapier, yeah.
Okay. It'll be like that, where you can tie it into hundreds of different integrations. And let's say you are that gym, and when they give their exercise or their reason for reaching out, you want it to go on a separate path and maybe create a Stripe customer for them or do some other action stuff based, this whole flow of interactions. That's where we're building the ability to build a conversational script for your AI.
Okay, so we need to dumb that down for me for 2 seconds here. And I want to make sure everyone's getting this too. So the idea very simply is we're running it through one of the objectives. After it gets to one of the objectives, based on how it answered one of the objectives, it then goes into some type of an automated workflow that then goes and filters it again to whatever it may be, to a Slack channel, to an email, to a landing page, to a phone call, something of that nature.
Right. Let's take real estate, for example. If you had an objective to determine their timeline, and then you wanted it, so if they said less than a month, you wanted it to pull the property value and then start to negotiate a price at that time based on the property value it pulled with the action. Otherwise, if they said something more than a month, have it interact in a way that's trying to secure it as a listing.
Got it.
That sort of thing.
Phenomenal. So when's toy number 2 or version 2 going to be done?
Early Q4.
Early Q4 of this year?
Yeah.
That's awesome. What else should I have asked you about your product or your vision for the use of this product?
I guess what makes it unique is that it came out of a personal need that I had and that I've seen with my friends, problems they've had, and even my parents running their business. Like, those are the issues I want to solve. Eventually, because people have asked me, like, why think small? Why not go try to solve the problems of Keller Williams, make them a customer? And I'm like, that's not the problem I want to solve right now.
Yeah.
I want to solve your problems. I want to solve my wife's problems, like small businesses. Yeah. That's what gets me emotional.
Bingo. Yeah.
So that's my why. Other than that, I mean.
Have you taken any funding so far?
I have not taken any funding.
Yeah.
I am bootstrapping this so far.
I know. And dude, I'm proud of you. You've built a phenomenal business with blood, sweat, tears, hard work. And I know what you've done. So that's phenomenal.
I guess we could talk about the hard stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about the hard stuff.
The funding.
Yeah.
The future, the shiny
thing. No, yeah. Let's. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear the story.
Yeah. There are awesome times building a business, and you know this.
Yes.
But in the same day, there can be devastating times. I can be at the highest point in my life, and then hours later, I'll get a couple consecutive cancellations where I don't agree with their reason for canceling and I can't do anything about it. And they've insulted my baby.
Yeah. They called your baby ugly.
Exactly. They said it smells funny. And I just get so devastated.
Yeah.
I take it so personally. And there have been times over the past year, where tears are shed.
Sure.
Can't hold it together.
Yeah. Man tears.
Yeah. Good man tears.
Yeah. Big ones.
Yes.
Alligators.
Yeah. Times where I'm extremely far out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I'm a tech person and I need to hire and manage individuals. And so that brings me out of my comfort zone. There are big struggles.
When you build a business.
Yeah.
The internet has glamorized this idea of entrepreneurship. What they don't tell you is the sleepless nights, the emotional roller coaster, the I'm on top of the world and I just fell into the abyss, the everything's working, and then literally the next day everything's broken. And that's the cycle of the entrepreneur. And if you can deal with that, and you can just keep moving regardless of what you see around you, regardless of what everyone else is telling you, regardless of the media, you will actually be wildly successful. But you've got to put up with the crazy on the journey and have a powerful enough vision that's like out here, that it's pulling you through like a magnet, like you're just attracted to it like it's the sun. Otherwise, what happens is when you fall off the mountain into the abyss, you'll just stay in the abyss. So that's why I love when you said, I'm doing this for small business. I'm doing it to solve my people's problems. See, that resonates. That's a long-term thing that you can look at that pulls you through the minutia, the crazy, what's happening. I want to talk about because at some point, maybe you're going to not bootstrap this and you're going to go through and grab funding. Let's just say I got $10 million sitting in my pocket right now. I'm your VC investor. I'm going to hand you $10 million. How would you grow this even bigger? What would you do?
If I had $10 million cash given to me, I would probably allocate a third of that to people up front. I need to stack my developer team with good talent. I have the talent already. I'm just bootstrapping to try to be able to afford all the team instead of one guy. So it would go into that. It would go strongly into customer success. I've seen how important it is to take care of your users.
Yeah.
So I would hire a customer success team. That's, let's say, 3 full-time lead developers to build the V2, 2 additional full-time customer success people. I need legal.
Yeah.
I'm using AI to generate my privacy policy in terms of service and my own knowledge, and that's not good enough at that level. So I need a legal team.
Yeah.
And then a marketing team.
Yeah.
I'm not a marketer.
Yeah.
And I've made that perfectly clear with my unsuccessful ad campaigns on Facebook.
Well, and this is the beauty of this. You're not a marketing guy. You're not a sales guy. And your business is still rapidly growing. And you have clients that are coming on all the time and ones that are staying who are like stark, raving, mad, lunatic fans. So even though you're not a marketing guy and not a sales guy, I think you've built a product that solves such a good problem that if you simply improve in those areas or hire the most talented people in those areas, I see nothing but exponential up for you.
Right. Yeah. It's exciting. And I have such a rare opportunity. Usually people are selling products that are not the best product because there are very few products that are the best product. They are the best. But there are plenty of, let's say 90% of the rest of the market, they're still living.
Yep.
They're still doing great. I have the best product and I get to sell the best product. Thank God it's the best because I would not be able to sell anything but the best product. Right?
My sales skills are here, so the product sells itself.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, I have this amazing community and I have been able to focus on product and people enough that those take care of my sales.
Got it.
Product and people and sales has taken over because my customer is usually great at sales. And when they love the product, they sell it for me.
So you mentioned, attrition. Sometimes they call your baby ugly. In, SaaS, they call it churn.
Yep.
You kind of squirm a little bit even at the word.
Yeah.
What is your churn rate? Above average? Below average? Normal?
Yeah, it's above average for sure.
Okay. Why does a customer stop using Closebot? What's the most common thing that you run into?
And we're fixing this, but 2 things. Them not being educated enough before jumping into bed with our product. AI is cool. It's going to do the job for them. They don't know what that means.
Yes.
So they pay for our product. And then me being the developer I am, I thought everything was pretty self-explanatory. So I didn't have much of an onboarding process.
Got it.
So they don't know what the tool is. They don't know what it does. They don't know how to use it. They just know they should use it. And then there's no onboarding process. Then they've paid for it for a few months. And they know they're not going to use it because they're lost.
Because it has an actual learning curve.
And so they cancel.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
So, because I know this is one of the things you're working on, as the next few months roll by, how does that process change? What's different that then helps the medium user, the novice user, or can they buy, extra coaching or something to get them over that hump? How does that work?
Yeah, well, it's drastically changed now just in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Now everyone gets a one-on-one half-hour onboarding call for free.
Yeah.
That's with my developer, Max. He sets it up for them. And then if they pay annually, they get a free 1-hour call with me where I do the whole business setup for them.
Yeah.
So then it's working. Like
Yeah.
they don't have to do anything. It's working. Even if they're a monthly paid user, they still get the call with Max, and they have a cheap access to my calendar. So it's not free for those monthly people, but they get cheap access so that I can build it out for them still. So they start off in a much better place, and then we're improving our blogs and our help articles so that they come in more educated. Yep. And now we track activation too. So I know when you've edited your first bot, I know when it sent its first message, accomplished objectives, scheduled appointments, and we send emails accordingly to guide you on what the next step is and share articles with you on how to get to that just the next step.
Yeah.
Always just the next step.
Yeah. Yeah. Just one more action. Just pick up the bar.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I love it. If people wanted to, check out your product, if they're interested, if they're like, man, that could solve something in my business right now, how would they get a hold of you?
Easiest way is to go to Closebot.ai. Account's free. You can plug it into your CRM for free. You can do all that stuff for free. You start with free credits. You can do like 40 messages for free and just see if you like it.
So they should just come in and try.
Just come in and try it.
Yeah.
And then if you want to get in touch with me, there's a chat support in the bottom right. Max and our other support individuals are on there. And just say, I want to talk to Bryce.
Yeah.
And they'll tap me on the shoulder and be like, Bryce, this person wants to talk to you. Or, if you want to get more personal, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Just search Closebot.
And we'll put links to all this stuff in the comments below. Thank you for coming on, my friend. I'm very proud of the product you've built, and I cannot wait to see where this goes.
Thank you. Thank you.